All right. Welcome, everyone out there. All my virtual listeners, I hope that you are ready to go. You may want your book, Thinking Collaboratively by Randy Garrison, out. Before we begin, go ahead and check your audio and video. Make sure it's working properly. I already did for me, but you should see your video working. If not, go ahead and fix that. There are some directions there. Hit the video button on the bottom of the screen. If you need to adjust or if you wanted like a virtual background, if you hit the caret, then you can do that and get the virtual background up and ready to go. If you would like to check your audio, hit the microphone in the lower left-hand corner. You can hit the caret and do the test speaker button. You can change the view in the upper right-hand corner of the screen to make sure you can see me and the presentation at the same time. And then last, see your name in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, just to make sure that you are good to go. All right. So this presentation will be starting soon. Remove any distractions that you have. Turn off your phone. Put it on mute. My phone's in the other room, actually, so I don't even have to worry about it. Shut the door to where you learn so that you have a good environment. And then put a do not disturb sign on your door or let others know that you are learning. For instance, I let my husband know I was recording this so that he didn't accidentally walk in. If you have kids, husband, wives, whatever it is at home, make sure you do the same. And then please prepare by putting any of your distractions aside and focusing on this time together. I won't take much of your time, so make sure it's focused energy in order to get started. Once you have those things, we'll go ahead and begin. All right, to start, we're going to do a quality check. Please help me out here. Please make sure the red record symbol. I see that I am indeed recording because I can see my stop recording button right there. Please make sure you see that, and then make sure you see the slide. You should see a slide that says quality check on it. It should fit your screen and any other classmates in the view. Now, if you're joining us remotely, you won't see other classmates, but you should have my camera somewhere on the screen so that you can see me and the slide at the same time. And then if all of these things are true, I would give you a thumbs up. Just give me a virtual thumbs up if we are ready. Hopefully everybody is. Thank you very much. All right. So our learning objective today is that by the end of this presentation, you will understand how working collaboratively is going to be better for learning. So whatever profession you are in, you will understand how working with other people is going to be better for learning overall. So we are going to test this theory out to start. So in a quick introduction activity, and you are to answer on your own. So whether you have people watching this class with you, make sure you each have your own pencil and you each have your own paper ready to record any of your thoughts, because the next slide is going to be a test and you're going to have to record as many details as possible, and you are only going to have 30 seconds. Let's try. So in the next 30 seconds in your notebook, what do you see? You only have 30 seconds, and I've already started that on clock timer. So go ahead, write down as many details as possible. I'm going to be quiet here for a few seconds to let you think. All right, about 10 seconds left, virtual listeners. So if you see any details here that you haven't yet written down, go ahead and quickly get those written down. Thank you. So the point of this activity was that most of you probably saw a young lady. Now, there is also an older lady that you could have seen. And without having a teammate or a helper show you, you probably only saw one or the other. So I'm going to point out to you right now where these ones are. So if you saw the young lady, her eye is here and her nose is right here. All right, so this is her head, her feather in her hat, right? So this is the young lady and she's wearing like this Sherpa thing, right? All right, great. Now, the older lady, this is her nose, her eyeball, her other eyeball. This is her mouth. Go ahead and see if you can find her. So This is just going to prove my point that working collaboratively is going to be better for your learning. Without having that other person there, you probably only saw one of the ladies, and you need another person to point out those instances in order for you to see them as well. Moving forward, where we're going with this, right? The rest of the presentation is going to just give you a better understanding at why working collaboratively is going to be better for learning. So that first little snippet activity was just one demonstration at why working together, you're going to be able to see a bigger picture. So the key to working collaboratively is going to be engaging with the ones that you are working with a whole body experience. You cannot do this with half of your body. You need your mind engaged. You need to be listening to the other people. You need to be actually experiencing and learning yourself and then taking whatever that is back to the table. So it's not just, oh yes, I'm listening to you conversation. You need to make sure that you're engaged with your whole body, you're interacting with the other people in your group, and you're really trying. You're really taking a toll on this whole learning collaboratively thing. With this comes being open-minded. So you're not always going to be agreeing with your teammates. You're going to be able to and want to consider other options. And I feel like the big part of this is that it is okay being wrong. And that is probably the kicker here. So key point, it is okay to be wrong. And your opinion is, or what you think is right, isn't always going to be wrong. Like it might be wrong sometimes. And you know what? That's okay. Your teammates may help you out to see the bigger picture, the bigger idea. And you just have to have that open-mindedness in order to truly understand this. So how do we get true collaboration? You can get true collaboration once you meet a challenge and you overcome that. So collaboration is going to be hard. It's going to require your full attention. It's going to require you to be open-minded, and it's going to require your entire group to take on those hurdles together. Take this crack, continue over this crack. And then once you push through and you persevere, that is where the true learning is going to happen. You're going to learn from your mistakes. You're going to make it better for everybody in the longer run because you persevered in the end. It will be beneficial, but it's going to take some hard work. All right. So for all you virtual listeners out there, we are going to reflect on this really quickly. I want you to pause this video, or you can click this 2-minute timer symbol right here. This little guy, it's going to have a link to a YouTube video to where it's going to pause it for 2 minutes. Your prompts. I want you to write down about a time you ever had to overcome a challenge by yourself, because I know we all have challenges at home, and I know things are tough at times. How did that make you feel doing that by yourself? Then I want you to write down how you think that challenge would have gone if you had overcome it with others helping you. Why would it make you feel differently? What about it would make you feel differently? I know personally that having others through hardships is going to be better for me. And that is that whole concept of working collaboratively. You have a team to deal with those challenges and tough times. But I want to give you a second to think about that, and really think about that and apply it to your real life. Go ahead and pause the video now, or press this pause symbol right here for a 2-minute timer so you don't go on too long. All right, welcome back from that reflection. I hope that you truly thought about it and discovered that working with others is going to be better for that challenge, and that working with others is going to give you a new lens, maybe that you wouldn't have had by yourself, and that you can persevere through challenges and challenging times in order to learn something from it. I think that all of us have had that time in our lives where we push through something and it's been easier because we have people we can trust. All right, so another hard part is a lot of teachers, especially because I am a teacher, and a lot of people in the workplace, they create a competition between colleagues. And having competition while learning is like learning by yourself. There's no help with other people if they are competing against them. In the end, there is no winner, there is no loser. That is just making people where one side might know something different than another side. In the end, you have no winners Get rid of the competition. It's not good for anybody. Nobody's going to be learning at the full potential amount at that point. Guys, I know it's just competition is something that's so ingrained in us and it's hard to get rid of. But trust me, with this research, it's solid. Randy Garrison definitely had said that, having competition is just learning by yourself. And that is just not something that anybody should do or want to do if we're really, truly trying to become the best that we can. So what you need to do instead is come together. The great thing about working with others is that you can help each other out and share the load. This is not saying that you have to learn everything with another person. You could split the load. Maybe one of you learns something else, the other one learns a different task or a different idea or a different skill. Then you guys can come back together and teach each other. Use that cohesiveness to learn together. So if I would go off and learn something, I could bring it back to the table, just like you guys could at home. You could be watching this video at home right now and be sharing it with a classmate later today even and say, hey, this is what I learned. This is a great skill. What did you learn today? And then you guys are learning something together. And that's the beautiful thing about working collaboratively is that you can share the load. Not one person has to burden it all by themselves. The hard part when it comes to working together and working with other people is giving and taking feedback. So you have to remember when you're working with your group or your peers, or maybe a group that you were just assigned and you don't even know these people and you don't like these people. Well, when you get feedback, make sure to keep it helpful and not making an attack on the person you're working with. It's nothing personal. They didn't do anything wrong. You just don't agree with them or you think that they can improve somehow. Same thing when you take feedback. Remember, it is not personal, okay? These people are genuinely trying to help you, okay? We want to make sure that this is not you. You don't want to be frowny face the whole time. You want to make sure that you take that feedback, take it with a grain of salt, smile at these teammates and say, thank you for the feedback. I will change it next time. And then remember to give them positive feedback as well for yourself. So we are going to do an activity where you try this. Okay. Now, I have a very, very generic horse drawing here. Okay. As you all can see, I want you to pause this video and on that same piece of paper you did your reflection on, or maybe even practice this out loud. If you want to write it down first, but you're in the environment where you work and you have to talk to your colleagues, practice giving this formative feedback out loud to the person who drew this horse. I want you to give them formative feedback on how to make it a better drawing. All right. And I'm no artist, right? So this is the best I can do. But even if you're a genius artist, don't make it personal. Don't be like, oh my gosh, I could have done so much better. Oh my goodness, this is awful. No. Okay. Make sure that you don't turn it into a competition because that's not helpful. Try to focus on making it helpful feedback. Go ahead and pause the video now and let's see how you did. All right, welcome back. Hopefully your feedback was very positive. And if you haven't read that out loud yet, I do want you to give that a chance and read it out loud. If you were taking that feedback, how would you feel about it? I want you just to take a second and think about it. Would you feel okay? Yes, I need to make these improvements. Thank you so much. Or would you feel personally attacked? If you're on the latter end, I want you to work on tweaking that feedback just a little bit so that your teammates don't think that you are taking it personally. All right, so integration. I came up with this activity because, as you all know, I am a teacher, but I know that all of you virtual learners out there, not all of you are teachers. Some of you may want to teach in a different setting, but that's different than what I do every single day, right? So I want you to think of a time that you could incorporate collaborative learning in your real life. All right, do you get that? Your real life. So something that you're actually going to do, not just to do this assignment, not just willy-nilly do it out loud, right? Something that you would actually do, all right? And I created this little Mad Lib section here. And I want you to tell me how it's going to be beneficial for you. All right, so your first section is, I think it would be beneficial for my students to work collaboratively blank. Fill this section in here. When do you think it would be helpful? What type of project? Do you have an idea of when you could put groups together to where they have one single solid idea that they need to work together? Fill in that blank now. I would like to see them end up learning what? Fill that in. Do you have a certain skill, a standard, or an outcome that you would like to see because they're working collaboratively? Okay. How would you give them formative feedback? So I would give them, as the instructor, from your point of view, I would give them formative feedback through blank. So would this be an online form that you fill out? Would it be a written form? Would you conference meet with them? Would you do something like this to where you're giving them formative feedback on whatever skill or standard you had written down before? And then they will have a chance to give a teammate's feedback through what? Because we all know that feedback is going to be super important. So you're going to allow them to meet face-to-face, maybe online, maybe a forum, maybe they share a Google Doc and they type all their ideas out together and then they critique each other. What do you think? So my example is something like this. I think it would be beneficial for my students to work collaboratively to learn multiplication facts. I teach third grade. Multiplication is the height of where we're learning. I would like to see them end up learning all facts 0 through 12. So all of the multiplication facts between those numbers. I would give formative feedback through written evaluation on their test, checking the math, and conferencing with students if needed. They will have the chance to give teammates feedback through written forum on the answers each one provides. So in my head, I'm generating this idea of a lesson on how I can add collaborative learning into my real life, because that is truly what's going to change the process. And collaborating with people is how learning is going to stick and they will be able to learn more. If I have a kid who knows all their choose facts, 2 times 2, 2 times 6, 2 times 8, but then I have a kid who doesn't relate to, let's say, their sevens. Well, at least I could pair those kids together and say, hey guys, what's 2 times 7? Their teammate would be able to help them with that, and that one skill and that one fact that one kid would be able to learn from that is a win in my book. They would be helping each other out, and in the end, it's going to be beneficial for both of them versus making that a competition in my classroom. So go ahead and pause the video right now and write down any thoughts or ideas that you may have when it comes to this. Great job. And now, I'm going to give you some time, so if you need to pause this video to do so, please do. So you have the start of a template on how to incorporate this thinking and learning into your class or your real life if you're a corporate job. So now I want you to just do some little research on how you're actually going to make it happen. A lot of presentations, I feel, they give you all of these great ideas and no time to actually implement them or research how to implement them. So I'm going to give you that time now. What needs to change? Do you need to rework a section of your lesson or maybe a section of your training, a certain lesson, a certain skill that you need to change out? Take this time to really research how you can implement your ideas, learn more on the topic, just really kind of work in that. If you have no idea where to start, I have linked in for you on each one of these. I will go ahead and circle those for you. On each one of these is a different link. I have one for corporate, one for learning, and one for like professors of universities. You can go ahead and click on one of these links. They're all journal articles, and they will lead you and start your kind of searching journey on how to make collaborative learning a real possibility for you. All right, so in resolution, our summary. So by the end of this, I hope that you truly understand that working collaboratively with others is going to be better learning for really all forums. And I think my picture here, I just couldn't help but add it in here. I thought it was adorable. 2 heads are going to be better than 1. I know it's a cliche saying, but I really think it's true, and the research proves it, okay? Randy D. Garrison and all of the research, those articles that I posted and any of the research that you came up with, I'm sure that you found that working with other people and you guys working together to learn is going to really be just more beneficial for everybody as long as you do it correctly, which I hope by learning this and taking this PowerPoint, you've learned and you really, truly accept and understand. So after this presentation, go ahead and go on to answer the few quiz questions that I did post in our classroom for us to show that you truly did develop your understanding and mastered that learning objective that you truly believe, and not just like believe, but like actually believe, because you have real life examples of how you're going to implement this in your life, that the learning objective of you can take students or take people, take colleagues, work together, it's going to be beneficial for that learning. Which was our learning objective, that working collaboratively is going to be better for our learning. So you will have a quiz on that. So just go ahead and click into the classroom. I would suggest doing it right after this. It's not going to take a lot of your time, guys. Just get it done, get it over with so that I can see that you learned. If not, and you have any other questions, just email me. It's not a big deal. Any questions that you have, any comments, any concerns, or maybe during that research session, you found a good article that you would like to share, and we can learn collaboratively together, and I can share that out to the rest of our members of our class, and that would just be fantastic. If you found any other things during your research time that we would like to share out, I know that everybody else would be happy to hear it. So just email me those things along with your reflection that you did earlier and any notes from this class, as well as your quiz. You can submit all of those things on the classroom. There is an assignment posted for you, and I hope that you enjoyed